Once or twice a week, I get together with family or friends to play the beautiful game of Everdell, and I often think, what would it be like to visit that land? So, here is a video of me attempting to make a fully 3D lifelike version of the Everdell board game. I fully intend on using this board for all future games once it's finished. Here I am sanding down the purple foam that I bought. That was completely unnecessary. I don't know why I did that. Please keep in mind I do not have the proper tools for this project. I've never sculpted anything before, and right now my tools consist of a popsicle stick and a variety of spoons. But that's okay, you gotta start somewhere. Here is where I start fine-tuning the meadow. I want it to be nice and flat so I don't have any crooked cards. This is actually my second attempt at this board. My first attempt ended up looking like a third grade art project, and my meadow was really, really uneven because of the material I used, so I threw it away. If this meadow is lumpy and I have one crooked card, I'm going to have to fight the impulsive thought to just destroy it and start all over. So I'm making sure it's nice and level. This one looks much better though. I don't think it'll see the same fate. Everything I've learned about Sculptamold so far has been from the High Eye workshop on YouTube. I also really like Real Terrain Hobbies. He has a bunch of great stuff on how to make realistic terrain and rivers and things like that. But High Eye Workshop has taught me so much about Sculptamold and realistic terrain. He hasn't posted a video in a while, which really bums me out because I love his work so much. He would definitely be taken back by what I'm doing here, especially after saying that everything I've learned has been from his channel when I am not heeding his advice whatsoever. This Sculptamold consistency was a little bit too wet, and I should have just let it dry before I continued trying to mold it, and I needed to probably put on a thicker layer, but I just kept trying to fix it and make it better, and it was just so bad. So eventually I got so frustrated that I just covered it up and said I would come back to it later. I was hoping after it hardened up a little bit, it would be easier to work with. So I thought I had stepped away, but now that I'm watching this video, I see that I continued to try to sculpt the wet Sculptamold and quickly gave up and erased it again and started on my river. In my original board that I destroyed before this one, I had made a paint baking soda mixture for this part for some reason. I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. I'll show a picture of it here. So yeah, we are doing it the proper way with Sculptamold this time around. The river serves absolutely no mechanical purpose in the game, but emotionally it is everything. It is my favorite part of the board. I'm really excited to add all of the rock and landscape to this piece. I'm going to have to make part of the river more elevated than the other side because there is a waterfall on this board. I'm so excited to add the rock and paint and everything to this river so that I can add the resin. A lot of people advised against resin, but after doing research, I really don't find it too intimidating. I've also considered adding some things to my board that aren't on the original, like maybe some lily pads where frogs might hold town meetings or things like that. So if anyone has any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I so wish I could finish this board this week, but I learned pretty quickly how expensive all these materials are, so I'm definitely having to take my time. I definitely should have invested in some sculpting tools because this popsicle stick was fighting for its life over here. But honestly, I've developed kind of an emotional bond to this popsicle stick. I never thought I'd say this, but I've been through a lot with this popsicle stick. It helped me build my Evertree. And if anyone wants to see my Evertree construction build, I'm happy to post that too. Here I'm just trying to make the edges of the river more grooved. Something I also picked up from High Eye Workshop. So this is just what it looked like before smoothing everything out. I was going to attempt to do this again, but I don't think it was dry enough yet. Putting down my homemade tree stump, I started carving out this path along the river. I will be making more roots out of wire foil and clay to be sticking out of the ground and to make the route that goes over the path and the bridge that connects the two sides of the board. So my foundation is pretty much finished, and I'm excited to start on all the little details and the paths and flocking and static grass and resin and all that cool stuff. I'm going to be referencing High Eye Workshop and Real Terrain Hobbies for the rest of this project, but I'm really nervous about messing something up in the upcoming steps. I want to take my time and make sure I do everything properly, and I'm not really sure what comes next, so I'm going to have to do some more research. I am really eager to cover the whole thing in flock, but I also could start painting first, so I really just don't know what to do. But I'm going to figure it out and get started on that today. So until next time.